Everybody to the Richland Center Seventh-day Adventist Church and our Creation Health program. It's a faith-based wellness program based on a unique whole person health philosophy. So it's not just addressing our physical health or nutrition, it's also addressing spiritual health, which we believe to be linked very closely with our physical health. Oh, and by the way, our bathrooms, if you need to use the restroom, they're right outside the room here. And we also have some refreshments in the back, some hot tea and some refreshing water. There are a couple proverbs here. It says, from an unknown person, after dinner, sit a while. After supper, walk a mile. There's a Spanish proverb, better lose a supper than have 100 physicians. And from the Holy Scriptures, better is a dry morsel with quiet than a house full of feasting with strife. So the word creation is actually an acronym that stands for 8 different principles that we will be going over in the next 8 weeks. And then the 9th week, ending our health program, is March 12th, and we would like to invite everybody to a very nice vegetarian dinner. All the letters stand for a principle. C in creation stands for choice, which Dr. Sinnett will be presenting tonight. The R stands for rest. E stands for environment. A stands for activity. T for trust. I for interpersonal relationships. O for outlook. And N for nutrition. And we are going to learn over these next several weeks how all of these things are interwoven together, and taken together will help us to produce happier and healthier lives. And tonight, our first presenter will be Dr. Sinnett. He is local resident here at Richland Center for quite a few years, and he will be presenting our first Letter Tonight choice. Thank you, Dr. Sinnett.
Thank you. And as LaSong pointed out, Creation Health is an acronym. And the first question you might ask is, why are we talking about health principles? There are a dime a dozen. You can go to the website, you can find diets, you can find exercise, up the yin-yang. And you can go to the hospital, you can go to the clinic, you can go see our health providers in Richland Center, in Muscoday, and Spring Green, and they will give you all kinds of prescriptions. So what have we got to offer? I would like to suggest that what we have to offer is a way of life, a holistic approach rather than a list of do's and don'ts. You can make your own list of do's and don'ts, and yours may be different than mine. I would hope they might be, because sometimes I get a little liberal with me. But that's okay, and to be a little liberal at times is okay. We do have choices, and the choices start very young. This is my newest granddaughter. She's 5 months old now. And in fact, after this program tonight, I'm going to go to Michigan so that I can see her before she flies back to Taiwan. She happens to have passports for the United States of America as well as Taiwan. So she will have choices all of her life as to where she wants to be. We all have choices. There's an infinite number of choices that you make, I make each and every day. It's inescapable. As LaSong mentioned, Creation Health is an acronym. Creation, choice. Make healthy decisions. That's what we want. You see, not all of my choices may be healthy. I don't have to make healthy choices. It's our goal, perhaps. But sometimes I flat out don't want to make a healthy choice. Sometimes I just want a bunch of dark chocolate and I'll eat enough of it until I just feel sick. But I convince myself I still enjoy it. So choices are always there. And you see, it goes back to the very beginning. There's been choices since time immemorial. That's why you and I have a choice today. And if you think you're not making a choice, you just made one. Choice is inescapable. God gave Adam and Eve a choice. They made their choice. We still are making those very same choices. It's between whether I want to believe what God says, if I want to believe what the principles of health are, or if I want to believe that I can make my own decisions and do whatever I want. And I can. That is my right. It's my God-given privilege. No one will take that away from me. Even if I go down doing it, it's my right. I can choose. Rest, experience relaxation. In today's busy society, we don't often find time to experience relaxation. We drive ourselves day and night. And if we aren't driving ourselves, we're watching the tube, which drives us with a lot of chaotic emotions. Environment. Environment is all of which surrounds me. Keep it clean. Take that to its broadest extent. Keep it clean. Activity. Get into motion. Move. Do something. Trust. Express your faith. Faith in God, faith in one another. We have to have some basic beliefs, otherwise we don't know where we're going in life. And that becomes very chaotic. I will even go so far as to say even the terrorists have a trust. They have a belief in something. They seem to be believing in something. We may not agree with it, but there's something that drives our behaviors. Interpersonal relationships, very important. We are gregarious. We are gregarious people. We need social interactions. Outlook. Life is much easier if you become positive. Russ was just telling me beforehand, sometimes in work you get tired of doing the certain things, but you just decide, well, at least it's something to do and it keeps you busy and it looks better when I'm done, right? So we can be positive. We can put a positive spin on anything. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, there's everything right about it. Nutrition. Fuel your body. Fuel it with what is beneficial. Again, looking at that acronym another way, choice. It's the first step toward improved health. That's why we're talking about it today. I have a choice. And I can make choices all the time. And even if I make a choice that isn't my best choice, I don't have to distress about it. I don't have to keep whipping myself because I made a bad choice. Get over it and move on. There aren't very many in this room that are perfect yet. So, we need to just forget about the past and move forward. Rest, take time to relax. Even if it's nothing more than stopping and taking a deep breath. Or smell the roses. Or look at the sunshine. Environment. It's everything that surrounds you. It impacts you. Pay attention to it. Get out, get moving. Trust. Your faith. Faith and belief in others and in God. We have to believe in others, especially in this day and age. We have to have some belief. Otherwise, we walk around paranoid all the time nowadays. People are essential to our well-being. Living happier, you can live longer. Plenty of studies to prove that. What was that old song? Something about be happy? Yeah. The guy should have taken some of his own advice, right? Nutrition, the fuel that drives your whole system. In the Bible, in 3 John, it says, "Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers." Now, as Lasong said, this is a faith belief, a basis of living, a holistic approach to health. And you have to believe in something. And so I choose to believe in the biblical principles, and that's why I bring that up here. Also in John 10:10, "I have come that you may live life to the fullest." I mean, it's our Maker's desire that we have enjoyment in life and that we enjoy it to the fullest, that we be peaceful and happy. Choice is one of God's greatest gifts. He gave it to us. That's partly why we're in the mess we're in. He could have been very arbitrary and said, this is the way it will be, but you don't get much love that way. You can get love from your children for a while by telling them what to do, but after a while, there needs to be some reasoning. There has to be choices. And they have to know that you have to know they understand, and they have to know you understand. Choices, a great gift. Making healthy choices is the key to improving your life. My choice is the starting point from which everything else flows. To not make a choice is to make a choice. So, that's our goal, is to take a look at some of these choice things. Now, let me just play a little bit of a DVD here. I'll just move to that. Is that loud enough?
How big of a problem would it be for a pilot flying from Seattle to San Francisco to be just 1 degree off course? Well, he would wind up missing the airport by 10 miles. 1 degree doesn't seem like much, but in the end, it takes us somewhere completely different. Our choices are like headings on a compass. If our choices are off by even just a little bit, we can miss our final destination by miles. 1 degree, one choice is hardly noticeable. But if left uncorrected, we'll end up where we never wanted to be. The ability to choose is powerful. Correctly used, unlimited opportunity is ours. By consistently making the best choices, we become unstoppable. It unleashes our vast potential, and life becomes a satisfying journey of abundant happiness. During this Creation Health presentation on choice, we'll learn about the physiology of choice, the importance of making good choices, how to strengthen our frontal lobe functioning in order to make better decisions, and the trustworthy principles that lead to dynamic living. Dr. Winnie King explores the issues and techniques for staying on course by consistently making the best choices.
The power of choice is one of the strongest forces on earth. It has the ability to build up and the potential to tear down. Are you using your power of choice for good? The power of choice is located in a part of the brain called the frontal lobe. This is the mind's seat of authority. It's the brain's decision center. The powers of judgment, reasoning, social norms, and long-term planning all come from here. Most creatures have this brain function, but we find something very different in humans regarding the size of the frontal lobes. For instance, in dogs, the frontal lobes comprise just 7% of their brain, and it's 17% in chimps. But in humans, the frontal lobes take up more than 1/3 of the brain's total area. And this tells us that our reasoning and planning capabilities are intricate, powerful, and complex. Unlimited opportunity awaits those who harness this power by making the wisest choices. The power to choose is having the opportunity and ability to evaluate multiple options and then selecting the one we prefer. Every day we make choices intentionally and unintentionally. Deciding to take action requires us to exercise our power of choice. Doing nothing is also a decision. Living by design or by default is a choice. We either shape circumstances or we are shaped by them. It's our God-given privilege to take responsibility for our lives and align our choices with our values, beliefs, and dreams. The first step toward improving our life is deliberately choosing the better choice in the moment of decision. Having the ability to choose is motivating, and it creates numerous physical and psychological benefits. For example, residents in a certain nursing home were given more control of their lives and extra choices. They were told they could have omelets or scrambled eggs for breakfast, but that they would have to choose the night before. They could watch movies on Wednesday or Thursday night, but they would have to sign up in advance. They were shown plants from which to choose one for their room and were instructed to water and take care of it themselves. Residents on another floor of the same nursing home, however, weren't allowed to choose what they wanted for breakfast. Neither were they offered the opportunity to sign up to see a movie. Movies were just shown. Lastly, they were given a plan for their room, and the nurse took care of it for them. The researchers were studying how the ability to choose and a sense of control affects people. The residents who were given choices and a sense of control were more alert. They participated more and felt better. Additionally, fewer people in this group had died 18 months later. This astonishing fact indicates that choice and control have a positive impact on our longevity.
Turn up the lights, please. For some reason the other one went up. The choice. If you look at Webster, Webster says there's one of four definitions of choice. One is it's the opportunity of choosing the best choice. The second uses the word opportunity. Opportunity or power to choose. The third is the act itself of choosing. And thirdly, it's a range of choices. All of those can mean choice. And you notice she mentioned all of those in the DVD. Proverbs 24:5 says, "A wise man is strong, and a man of knowledge makes strength greater." The frontal lobe. Remember, she mentioned the frontal lobe there. This is creation, health. Remember, there are some people that think that we evolved from chimpanzees or other lower things. What percentage of the chimpanzees' frontal lobe was, of their brain was frontal lobe? And the humans? Well, isn't it wonderful that we've doubled our frontal lobe function?
Ever find yourself struggling to make a decision? When making choices, remember these two principles. First, bad choices cancel good choices. For example, when it comes to diet, some people give themselves a free day where they can enjoy a few guilty pleasures. Before they know it, they've had chocolate cake for lunch, Dairy Queen on the way home from work, and cookies and milk before bedtime. A string of bad choices easily cancels good choices. Reinforce good choices by reducing counterproductive ones. Enjoy a guilty pleasure, but without wiping out the excellent progress that you've made. The second principle to remember is that good choices taken to extremes create poor outcomes. A perfect example is exercise. Exercise is good, but too much is unhealthy. Hours in the gym can cause people to burn out on exercise altogether. Strive for balance and reinforce good choices by reducing or eliminating counterproductive ones. A healthy, functioning frontal lobe is vital for living a healthy life. Everything we hope to be, have, do, or become starts here. And it's within our power to strengthen this part of our brain, which will help us to make better decisions, thereby improving the quality of our life. Here are 6 ways that you can choose to start strengthening your frontal lobe immediately. Choose to think positive thoughts. The right frontal lobe tends to be over-dominant when a person is depressed. When we think positive thoughts, we decrease the negative activity in that area of the brain. Choose to engage in physical and mental activity. The brain and the body affect each other. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain, which increases organ function. Doing thought-provoking activities such as crossword puzzles, Sudoku, and other mind games also increases blood flow to the brain. Enjoy a massage. It helps increase blood flow throughout the body, and when this happens, the body naturally prioritizes blood flow to the brain. So massage is not only a great way to soothe tired muscles, but it also increases mental performance too. Get some sun. Sunshine stimulates the entire body. It reduces cortisol, a stress hormone, which is important because your brain functions best when it's relaxed and not stressed. All of this works together to sharpen the mind. Eat plenty of complex carbohydrates. The brain uses carbohydrates almost exclusively as its fuel. Carbohydrates are essential to healthy frontal lobe functioning. Adding complex carbohydrates to your diet not only helps you feel better and think more clearly, it'll brighten your mood. Listen to enjoyable music. Music affects your body, so choose uplifting, positive, happy, peaceful music. Eliminate music that creates negative feelings. Ask yourself, what does this music make me think? How does it make me feel? If the answer is negative, then change the channel. We can improve our lives right now by deciding to make better choices, whether it's what you eat, see, hear, or experience. Choose wisely. Live well. In John 10:10, Jesus said he wants to give us abundant life, abundant in health, happiness, strength, joy, and satisfaction. Are your choices creating that kind of life? If not, regardless of where you are today, you're only one choice away from improving your life. You're only one choice away from a new beginning. So choose to intentionally exercise your power of choice. Choose to unplug and rest often. Choose to create an environment that nurtures your soul. Choose to stay young and healthy through activity. Choose to trust in God. Choose to enjoy interpersonal relationships with others. Choose to have a positive, life-empowering outlook. And choose to enjoy life-enriching nutrition. This is life as God intends it. He wants us to live life to the fullest.
And I would say that, you know, that's the, one of the main reasons that we are here, that we want to take a look at these things, is that, you know, it's not just go and eat X number of grapefruit each and every day, or don't go and, you know, stress yourself out by not having any chocolate for the next 2 months. Heaven forbid. You did hear her say, enjoy a guilty pleasure, didn't you?
Yes.
Or am I the only one that noticed that? Yeah, I like that phrase. But what else did she say about it? Don't overdo it. You know, so I can have some chocolate almost every day, can't I? Dark chocolate's good for me, so they say. I mean, we can find studies to prove almost anything I want to prove. So, you know, so the thing that's different here, and I think you'll see that throughout, is that, as she pointed out, as you look through creation, and the reason we chose this particular program of Creation Health, and you can see it was done and developed and designed actually by the largest Adventist health system in the country, and that's in the Southern Union, the whole southern quarter of the southeast corner of the United States, and is that the thing that's different here is a way of life, not just doing one thing, because we can find lots of one things to do, and some of us drive ourselves nuts trying to do that one thing to the extreme, or 2 or 3 of them really send us bonkers. And then when I can't do it, I get very discouraged and I throw it all out the window, and I'm probably worse off than I was before. So, creation health. It's because God gave us choices, and those choices are ours. And the bottom line here is just do something. Just do something. Do something nice for yourself every day. Stop and buy a flower to enjoy yourself or to give to somebody. Stop and buy a chocolate bar and have a little tiny piece. Just stop and look at the sunshine, not the sun itself. Look at the long shadows out there now. Actually, right now I can see through the window. They're gorgeous. The colors in the evening time. You know, there's all kinds of pleasures. It's not just food, and we should not deny ourselves the pleasures. But sometimes we have foolish pleasures that we think are pleasures for a moment, but we kind of regret later. So, make good choices. Think positive, physical activity. Just do something. Walk around the house if nothing else. Mental activity. Do something other than sit in front of the tube and be fed. A massage. Get a massage. Notice how she said it increases the brain power. Maybe we all ought to be doing that a lot. Sunshine, go outside. There are some people that never go outside in the day's time. I've seen many of them through the years. Good carbohydrates, music. Music's very important. I hate to try and live without it. Isaiah 41:10, do not fear. God says, I'm with you. Don't be dismayed. I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. He's given us all the support we need. Not only did he make us, but he decides he is going to maintain us day by day by day, and he will help us make the right choices. If I don't, but he does not make me make the right choices. I can make all the bad choices I'm incapable of doing. And other than being tripped up by God, and sometimes he does do that, but not very often. Sometimes I wish he'd do it a little more. But I can make the right choices. And sometimes, sometimes we do become fairly arbitrary. You've got to eat so many calories and carbohydrate, and you've got to eat such a percentage of fat, and so on and so on. Sometimes we get very arbitrary. I don't buy it. Be quite liberal with yourself in that you don't whip yourself all the time. Enjoy a pleasure once in a while. Have a wide variety. That's the whole key. God gave us gobs of things to enjoy. We tend to live in a tiny little world, and there's so much more. Live life to the fullest. You are the only one. You are only one choice away from living your life to the fullest. John 14:6. Jesus said, I am the way and the truth and the life. And this is where I started. This is my youngest granddaughter, for those of you that weren't in here. She has choices. She's 5 months. She still has choices, even now. She happens to have a passport for the United States of America and a passport for Taiwan. She's got choices the rest of her life. We just pray that her parents and her grandparents will continue to guide her so she makes more right choices than wrong. Notice how I said that. We would like her, and we would even like our pastor, to make all right choices. But I'll guarantee you, he can't even do it. I would say I'm the only one that could come close, but I shouldn't. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah, that's the whole point of life. And take time to take a look. This picture I took in Taiwan. I'm on the Pacific Ocean on the west coast of Taiwan looking east. It's sunrise, 5:40 a.m. It was a gorgeous view, and it was very warm and wonderful. We need to take time to just enjoy that which God has made. And they're all over. We expect to see some awesome pictures when Daryl and Karen get back from Fiji. We should see some troubling pictures, perhaps, because of the mission trip. We should also see some glorious pictures. So, choice. Don't forget the choice. All the way through here, the choice is yours. Now, the last half, what we want you to do is have some joy. I have and that is some food. I've chosen granola, and I made some granola, and there's some here. If somebody would come and pass these out, there's plenty for everyone. And then this is the recipe. Recipe on one side. Oh, I need one of those that's got the pretty color on the other side, please. I put on the back side creation so that you've got the acronym there and you can look at it. Next Saturday night at 4 in the afternoon, our pastor will be talking about rest. He knows all about rest and relaxation.
I know.
Now, I like the idea of granola because there's gobs of choices. This recipe here, I've had since I taught high school in Florida many, many years ago. But you see, there's plenty of choices. You're welcome to sample the granola whenever you want. And I'm just, kind of like I'm going to pretend I'm the TV guru and I've got the stuff measured out here for the most part. But when I make granola, I don't very much measure. You can do anything you want to, because if you put all good stuff in it and you mix all good stuff, the end product's got to be, I think, pretty good. And I actually have fun doing it. As you notice, the first thing we do is I just dump in 2 cups of oats. Now, what kind of oats you gonna get? Quick oats, steel cut oats, flat, whatever they call those, steel cut, and then there's the rolled oats. What's the difference? They're all whole. So, frankly, to me, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. If I use the steel cut, I have to chew a whole lot more. If I use the rolled ones, they seem to be a little easier. These are rolled ones, by the way, and I use organic materials as far as possible. But I don't get really obsessed about it. So you do the things that you need to do. Then you add a little whole wheat flour. It says a quarter cup. I put in a tablespoon, perhaps. If you put in a quarter cup, the more flour you put in, the lumpier it will be. Notice that this is a little lumpy, but not too lumpy. If you put in all that much flour, then you have these great big hard gobs. And I don't like it. If that's what you like, dump in a bunch more flour. You like the gobs. Okay, we'll put more flour in for you. Then it calls for rice polishings. Sometimes I have rice and sometimes I don't, but you can get it wherever you are. This is sweet rice flour. So what I do is, it says, what does it say? Quarter cup? No, tablespoon. So I put in a tablespoon of how much I feel like. Okay, that's my measure. And then I just, mix it up. Then it says coconut. Now I really like coconut, so I put in a generous cup of coconut. Now you wouldn't put in that much then, huh? No. She likes hers lumpy without the coconut. That's okay. So if I were making it for you, I would do that for you. I'd give you all of it too. Just a little bit.
That was a lot.
It's a cup. It's about a cup and a quarter. But it's really good. And it's sweetened. It's sweet. Now, if you want to be really, really ultra healthy, I suppose you could get the regular. And I've done it without the sweetened. And I like it because I like the flavor of coconut. In fact, I like the flavor of coconut so much that when I get around to it, sometimes I'll add some coconut extract. But anyway, that's for a minute later. Then what we have next? Sesame seeds. So, it says a quarter cup of sesame seeds. So you can get white sesame seeds, you can get brown sesame seeds, you can get toasted sesame seeds. What kind of sesame seeds you gonna get? The what? I'd get whichever one is there when I go to buy them. If you get roasted ones, you have to be careful when you're baking your granola because you can make them black instead of just toasted. Because you're gonna cook this when you get done. So I put in a quarter of a cup, yeah? I didn't measure this before. And then it says, what next?
Wheat germ.
Okay, now I don't often use wheat germ. Why? Is what? Well, it turns rancid so fast. So if I get some, I buy a small quantity, I put some in. It's very, very nutritious, high vitamin E, et cetera, and so forth. And sometimes if I have chia seeds, I'll put those in too. They're also very good. So you can do all kinds of things. But, so the wheat germ, I don't often keep on hand. If I buy some fresh, I usually go to where I can buy it in bulk. I can buy a small quantity, because it comes in those jars. Do anybody use it, and do you keep it fresh? How do you keep it fresh? Do you freeze it? Just in the refrigerator? How long does it stay good like that? Long time? I mean, maybe I don't use as much as I think. So then we use a handful of sunflower seeds, right? I like sunflower seeds. Do you buy the roasted ones? You buy the salted ones? You buy the raw ones? Yeah, whichever you have. Again, if you're buying the roasted ones, they're gonna roast. They're gonna be toastier if you're not careful. Now the other thing I like to do, I like pumpkin seeds in it. So you can add just about anything you want, anything that tickles your fancy. And so I use a handful of sunflower seeds too. Okay. What do we have next? Then there's nuts. And I use pecans. It says use the pieces. I like the halves, frankly. So I just put in a bunch of halves. So this is a very good breakfast. It'll last you till noon easily if you have a cup of that. You can't even get a cup of it. The walnuts are very good for you, so you need a few of those too. I use the slivered almonds because they're, if you put in the whole almonds in the granola, they're hard. Yeah, but these are awesome. So, also I put in cashews, and I see I forgot to bring cashews. You know, I use whatever nuts I have. You can use anything you want to. That's choices. There's just an infinite number of choices just in this one simple recipe. So you stir it all up. And then you add your teaspoon of salt. That is a teaspoon of salt. I measured this before I came. I have forgotten the salt, and it doesn't make all that much difference, but it is a little tastier with salt. Salt makes anything better, right? We are the salt of the earth, and that makes us better. Tastier, right? Okay. Then I use a quarter cup of oil. It says, what does it say? Corn oil. What if you used olive oil? I love it with olive oil. It's a little strong. You can get strong olive oil, you can get mild olive oil, you can go and get, you can go to the Pine River Co-op and you can get organic canola oil. This is all wonderful, which doesn't have much flavor. I've used coconut. I use coconut oil too. You bet I have. You have not.
I actually bought a bottle once, and I found out when I used it for frying, it was just everything tastes like coconut. And so now I use it for my hair. I gave it to my neighbor, thinking I didn't like it, and then she read on the bottle it was good for hair, so I took it out.
Oh,
Yeah. Very good.
If you're into aromatherapy, you use fractionated coconut oil with some of the essential oils, and you rub it on your skin, and it makes them soft and nice and wonderful also. So what I do is I just stir that in. What's the point of the oil? And I'm asking that question. I don't know that I have the answer.
Got a brown.
It helps for, yeah, browning.
I mean, it's not sticky at all after I put the oil in it. It's still just all very flaky. I presume I'm assuming that it has something to do with just some additional flavor, and maybe it toasts a little better as it bakes.
That's what I said,
Toasting
a
is
little
the
brown,
main thing.
it helps with browning, you know, he puts oil
Add some
in.
calories. We need some fat calories, but I put a lot of nuts in, so sometimes I go quite light on the oil.
And the honey.
Okay, then you go to sweetener. Now it says a quarter cup of brown sugar. Now, true confession, I use more than a quarter cup in one batch because I like it a little sweeter. Frankly, I use 3/4 of a cup, and nobody's complained about it yet. In fact, some people put even more sugar on it. But you know, there's a lot there, and I don't. That's one of my guilty pleasures. But I don't even feel guilty about it. You can go less, depending on how healthy or how restricted you want to be. I use the brown sugar, light or dark, and so I'm just going to put it in. That's 3/4 of a cup. And sometimes, you know, your brown sugar can get a little lumpy. You can use honey. I've used honey many times, and I like that a lot.
Have you ever used the agave?
I have. I don't. There are too many choices, and so I don't. What's the advantage of agave over any other sugar? Sweet calories is sweet calories, is to my way of thinking. So I think it depends on what you prefer. Yeah. Now is my favorite time. Would somebody get me 3/4 of a cup of water, please? I forgot to fill that before we started. Thank you. This is my favorite part, actually. You use the cold water, you mix it in there, and then it says a quarter cup to a 3/4 of a cup. I use 3/4 of a cup all the time because that gives me that kind of lumpiness that you have there. If you want it lumpier, you add more water and it'll just all stay together. You use cold water because if you use hot water, again, it becomes more of a mush, a gruel. Yeah, kind of semi-cooks as you pour it in. So I use the cold water, but what I've found over the years that I've been doing this, and I've even more and more, I like I start. This looks kind of ominous, doesn't it? But this is what I start with, and I just keep adding stuff until it smells like I want it to smell. This batch.
Is that a little obsessive?
Is that a little obsessive? I think it's very innovative. Call it what you like.
Choices.
So I put in at least a teaspoon of vanilla. and I get the organic vanillas. And for me, I would put in some extra coconut extract. For Connie, I would just leave it out. So we'll just humor her tonight. I like the almond extract a lot. So I tend to use a few drops, depending on how much I decide I want it to be like. And so now I've just got almond and vanilla in there, and it's pretty strong almond right now. Mm-hmm.
Do you need a spoon, Dale?
Do I want a spoon?
Yeah, you need a spoon.
For what?
For any mixing. Yeah.
Oh, no, I wiggle it around. Now, if I want extra sweetener, I often will use a stevia. If I don't want to put so much, do you know what stevia is? It's simply an herb, and I grow the stevia as an herb plant. The leaves, you can't, you can pick off a mint leaf and chew on it or something like that. You can't the stevia. It's very, very sweet. Very, very sweet. And you can buy this extract. I use the liquid. You can get the powder also. But you go on Amazon, you can buy a huge jar of this for like $15. And it takes only a few drops. It's 100 times sweeter than sugar. So if I want extra sweetener, sometimes I'll put that in. Now, sometimes I like to add orange. I have some essential oils. These are essential oils that I get, and they're organic, and they're 100%. They are, what do you call it? Edible grade, whatever that is. And, or the pure orange extract. And I like that in it a lot. Sometimes I do it quite a bit. Sometimes it's a very concentrated. It's 100% essential oil, so it doesn't take much. So sometimes I just play around, put some on my finger, stick my finger in here, and I lick my finger a few times, but I usually wash it after I do that. Sometimes. Ginger. I like ginger too. Ginger has a strong taste if you're not used to it. And sometimes I'll even take, if I have some fresh ginger root, and just let it sit in here for half an hour or so, and it can make it very nice ginger. You all know the smell of ginger? You can pass that around and smell it if you like.
So it makes it stronger as it sets.
Pardon me?
It's strengthens as it sets.
No. No, I mean, that's just pure 100% essential oil of ginger. So, I mean, Lasong has some nice little snacks that are ginger. They're hard, and if you like ginger, you would very much like it. If you don't, probably you would. So, sometimes I put in lavender, if I feel like I want a lavender flavor. Lavender's very nice. I would carry with lavender. The lavender's also wonderful for many other things.
So you're saying this is a broad independent use for massage?
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure. And lavender hand cream too, by the way. So the things that I've added, does that smell different than after we just had the almond and vanilla? Yeah, now you can smell the orange, and actually I can smell the ginger in it. It's very lightly ginger. So I kind of like that. So, every batch tastes different. But this is choices. It's my choices. So you have to eat whatever kind I make, or go make your own. You dump it all in, stir it around, and then the rest is easy. You put it in a cookie sheet with some sides, turn the oven to 225, and stir it every 15 to 20 minutes for an hour or longer. Now, if you're lucky enough, as I am, to have somebody around the house you can leave the house and still it gets stirred every 15 to 20 minutes, and it all comes out well. If you don't, and you leave it on all that time and you leave, you may have to start over. But Verla stirs it all the time, whether I'm there or not, so it's all taken care of. And then you can just feel it. The other thing is that I just make sure that when I cook, I'm a taster. Well, there's nothing raw there, and I like the flavor of that. If you want to use your fingers, you can have a taste of this now. And I put some wheat in there. 1 tablespoon of wheat. Sorry, I would leave it out for you then, wouldn't I? The gluten-free. It doesn't matter if your hands are dirty, because we're gonna bake it anyway. Oh, hey, there you go. Here, would you do this, Lasan? So those that would like to taste it. So that's all. That's all there is to it. I find it a fun thing to do, and it's very nutritious. If I eat that in the morning, I don't need anything else all day. And you can put less nuts in it if you don't want as much fat in it. So the choices are literally infinite, and it's very, very, I think, healthful, and it's very good. Now, there's supposed to be a quiz, but I don't know what it is. You all know all the answers, and I don't know if the song got enough prizes for everybody, so I'm gonna skip that. She can, and when she closes, if she wants to do it, she can do it. Any questions? Any questions that on what we've discussed with choice or with granola?
Very tasty, thank you.
I like the topic of choice because I'm one that likes choices. I like to make my own choices. I like to have more than one choice even at times, but most of the time. And most of the time I do. And so I think that the only way we can live well and have good nutrition is to have choices and to make the right choice more of the time than not. And when I don't make a good choice, if I decide I'm going to go to IHOP and I'm going to have a fried egg, 2 slices of toast with lots of butter on it, and pancakes with lots of syrup, I can do that. But if I'm going to do it every day, I might not want to do that. So so it says, enjoy a guilty pleasure, but don't overdo it. That's an okay philosophy, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So, enjoy life. To me, that's the key. Exercise your choice to enjoy every day, no matter what comes along. No matter what the circumstances, nobody can make me feel guilty against my will. Eleanor Roosevelt said that, or Abraham Lincoln, whichever one of the quotes you decide to believe. So, very good. Thank you so much, and we'll turn over the ending to Lasan.
Okay, thank you. What a treat. Thank you, Dr. Sinnett. And I guess, I would like to have our two, I think we have a couple new people in here, and I know one for sure, Connie. I would like to give you a prize, and can you tell me what next week's seminar, the R stands for, the next week's topic? Rest? All right. There you go. Pick that little prize for you there. This is so. And Russ, welcome. Nice to have you here. Without looking at your recipe sheet, what's one of the ingredients in the granola, except for the granola? Can you remember another ingredient in the recipe?
Oil.
Oil? All right. And what kind of oil? Any kind of oil. Coconut. All right. Okay, and as Connie said, our next week's topic will be on rest, and that is the 23rd, next Saturday, 4 o'clock again, 4 to 5, and our next presenter will be our pastor, Dr. Samuel Garvey, and we all hope to see you here. It was very fun. Yes? That's it? Oh yes, and we still have refreshments in the back, some good hot teas and some little treats, organic lollipops. So let's just close with a word of prayer. Dear Lord, you've been so kind to us and giving us this abundance of choices, Lord. And we can only make those good choices, Lord, by the power of your Holy Spirit, Lord. So we thank you so much for loving us, for giving us your Son to die for us so that we can make the choices that bring us all together in the end, ultimately, to live a wonderful, peaceful life of love and opportunity and happiness forever and ever. We thank you, Lord, and ask for your holy angels to be with all of us as we go our separate ways, and bring us back again together for our next exciting topic on rest. We thank you so much and ask you for these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Please help yourself. There's a lot of refreshments in the back.